Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Zodiac Bandit, and today we have some spoilers for Campaign 3 up to episode 89. So if you aren't caught up with episode 89 or Campaign 3 in general, I recommend clicking off and then getting caught up and then watching this video again. So yeah, spoilers. Last warning. So for those who are still here, it's time for us to move on to the main meat of this video, which is this the biggest mistake the Bells Hells have ever made? Now, for those who are curious as to what I am talking about specifically, I am talking about splitting the party on Ruidus to go after the two different Volition missions that they're sort of going on currently right now. This, to me, splitting the party in an area that they have very little information about, and where a bunch of their enemies are nearby, and where they're surrounded by people they don't fully trust, is the worst idea they could ever have. Now, there's a couple layers as to why this is a terrible idea, and I'm going to break them all down here. So, let's get started. So before sort of talking about what could go wrong, I should really explain what the two parties are doing. So the parties have been split in two, and there are two groups now moving towards the Volition missions, which are the Demolition Squad, which is made up of Fern, FCG, and Ashton, and their job is to go with Ira, sneak down into the tunnels, and blow up one of these tunnels and cause a bit of mayhem so the other missions that the Volitions are trying to do can go off properly, because everything hinges off the Demolition team happening and the bomb going off successfully. So that is what Team Demolition is doing. Then there is Team Rescue Ivaroa, which is made up of Laudna, Imogen, Chetney, and Orym, and their job is to sneak into the center pillar of the entire city and try to find what happened to the intel gatherer or intel giver that the Volition has been using recently within the central pillar, and to sort of find out what Ludinus is wanting her to build for the Weave Mine or the Ruby Vanguard. Now, this mission hinges on the Demolition team being able to successfully distract most of the guards that the team infiltration will be dealing with. So with that all being now understood, we can now move on to why splitting the party is a terrible idea. First of all, it's always just a bad idea. To sort of lose a portion of what makes your team work as a group and take that apart, you now have zero healing aspects on Team Gather Intel on Ivaroa. You have zero heals over there. So if they get in a fight and they get injured, they're pretty well boned. If someone gets hurt, if someone gets knocked, if someone gets killed, that's wraps. There is nothing there for them to be sort of healed and fixed. Both people with Revivify, even if Revivify doesn't work anymore, but both people are on Team Demolition. The other group just doesn't have any heals. So you can see the general idea of splitting the party being a bad thing, because now you are now taking away a portion of what makes your team work and how everyone sort of works with each other and how each person can sort of benefit from having another person there. That's gone. A large portion of it is gone. The healing and the tank are on Team Demolition. While that is a perfect fit for that group, that leaves the other group severely hampered. Yes, there is still a lot of damage on this side, but I would classify Team Ivaroa or Rescue Team Ivaroa as more like glass cannons. If any of them get too severely hurt, there is nothing they can do to heal each other. They are in deep waters if they get into a fight. That team has to really rely on stealth, and while a game like D&D, while a lot of these people do have decent stealth, they don't have, complete control over a dice. Someone might roll a 1. Someone might roll really bad. Something might happen to where someone has disadvantage, right? So realistically, they could be in deep shit if stealth doesn't go well. And realistically, the whole point of this video is to show why that team is in deep danger. Because, like I said, many things can go wrong for them. The other group, realistically, they're pretty solid in my opinion. Team Demolition is in a very good spot for them to be able to just burst their way through, cause an explosion, and then bada bing, bada boom, their job is done. They just got to get the fuck out of there now. The other group is in a much worse position. I haven't even gotten on to the point that they're moving towards where the Weave Mine chill. The main sort of antagonistic group of Ruidus is where that group is heading towards. They're heading towards the 5 most powerful mines on the planet. That is dangerous just in and of itself. So moving towards it while not having any heals and while not having your biggest damage dealer might be a problem. And it's not just splitting the party is bad. There is a lot more to it that makes this a terrible decision in my opinion. First and foremost, they don't know the area, the city at all. They are moving completely blind. The first time they entered the underground city was within the Volition hideout. They have no idea what the makeup of this city looks like, and now they're going in to do 2 separate missions, one in the center pillar of the entire city and one in the tunnels that seem to wind and twist and go wherever. They're going to spend half their time looking for where to go first. That's not going to end well for them because they don't know exactly where they're going. They have precisely one person aiding them in sort of traversing the tunnels, and that's Team Demolition. They have Ira. Yeah, moving on to the next part of why this is bad. The people they're with, they don't fully trust them yet. The Volition, while they are the people who are fighting against the Weave Mind and the Imperium and the Ruby Vanguard, would make them the enemy of my enemy, equaling my friend, there isn't trust there yet. There isn't like total trust, and they haven't necessarily proven to the party that they're worthwhile of having trust either. Now, this mission, while it is about proving trust is earned both ways, and that hasn't happened yet. The Volition hasn't proved anything for them to be trusting of Wise either. Yes, like I said, they are fighting against the same enemy, so that automatically gives them a layer of we're on the same side, but there could be some sketchy-ass motherfuckers here. There's literally a champion of Bane within this group. Yes, they're not technically tied to the same group, but they are working together. There is a level of, there might not be like total 100% trust here. And that needs to exist if these two teams, the party / the Grim Verity, are going to work with the Volition. And unfortunately, that just hasn't been proven yet. And then going back to Ira, who was one of the first villains of the entire campaign and has been super cagey and has literally stolen shit from the party in the past. Yes, they've had a working relationship in the past. Yes, again, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. But trust isn't fully there yet. He didn't even fucking tell the party how to get to the Volition, which would have helped them a ton in this scenario. He has done nothing yet again to prove their trust. Yes, they're going to trust Ira. Yes, they're going to trust the Volition. But they should be on their toes while doing so. And then the most important thing to sort of keep in mind when you're talking about all of this, we're talking about being in a place that they don't know, being surrounded by people they don't know and trust. They also have to remember their enemies are more than likely in the city. Ludinus is likely with the Weave Mind, or is likely within the Central Pillar somewhere. We know that Odahan Thule is within the city somewhere. We know Sora Lord Zathuda is in the tunnels, leading the excavation down there in those tunnels. We know Liliana Tomblet is in fact in the upper part of the city. All of our enemies, the biggest enemies, are within spitting distance of the party, and they're splitting up. What happened last time when they had a full team taking on Odahan Thule? 3 of them died, and now we suddenly have a party of 3, and we have a party of 4. If either of these parties come into, and the two that are the most worrying about this whole this whole scenario is Sora Lord Zathuda and Odahan Thule. Those are the ones who, in my opinion, are the most threatening as of right now, because we know they're in the city. We know that they're potentially both in the under part of the city, and that is the most dangerous spot they could be in because the party are also in the under portion of the city, and now they're separated. Imagine the group of Aurum, Chetney, Laudna, and Imogen come across Odahan Thule while they're trying to find Ivaroa. Imagine, and this is almost going to 100% happen, Sora Lord Zathuda comes across the team of Ira, Fern, FCG, and Ashton. Remember last time they fought him, when they were stronger than when they fought Odahan Thule initially? And how they had to run and rely on Nanamori? What in God's green earth tells them that this is a good idea that they should split up? They should have picked one, and they should have done it, and they should have left. They should have left and been like, we have allies now, we've earned their trust, we did a mission. They're spreading themselves way too thin with this whole scenario. And I truly think this is going to bite them in the ass, and this is where I think we're going to lose some people. And I think the party is well aware of the idea that people might be lost. Aurum made the deal with Nanamori with the idea in mind that he will likely not have to pay up because someone won't make it back. And there's been a bunch of martyrism within this group already. We know that FCG and Aurum have both had massive martyrdom moments within their whole, their whole storytelling as is. And same with Laudna. Laudna has told Imogen, if you have to leave me behind, do it. This is a group of people, specifically those 3, who I could see easily being like, okay, you guys go, I'm going to stay behind. And that is just not going to end well. The party is not going to be able to fare well without this group together. And I think that with them splitting up like this, they have made possibly the biggest mistake of this entire campaign. So let me know what you think. Do you think this is the biggest mistake this group could make? Or do you think this is an excellent idea? Do you think that this is going to prove themselves to the Volition and everything is going to go all hunky-dory, no one's going to get hurt, no one's going to die, and they're going to make it back to Exandria without any problems whatsoever. And they're going to do it super quick. They're going to do it fast enough to where their invisibility spells don't wear off and where the telepathic bond doesn't wear off. Or are they absolutely boned? I think they're boned personally. But let me know what you think down below. I will see you guys on Monday for whatever video I choose to make next. Until then, peace.